Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Colts cast. We are here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. My name is Eric Smith, co-host of the Colts cast. Alongside me, as always, I have co-host Jamal Lawrence here because he don't want to drink, but I'm going to drink for y'all.
First off, I have E.H. Taylor right here beside me in a Woodford Reserve cup, so I will be drinking for starters. Two, usually I say yo, hello everybody, how's it going? Nah, we starting off at the top. Right quote on Hines. I was just laughing. Nah, I'm kidding. We're going to let you go ahead and do your intro, bro. Go ahead.
My intro. Social media, guys. Hit us up on Twitter at the Coltscast, Instagram at Coltscast. You know you want to see us. You know you want to interact with us. Just do it. We are thriving on social media. We love talking to every single one of you. YouTube, we're on there now too, so go check us out. Just Google search the Colts, YouTube search the Colts cast. You can also Google search YouTube the Colts cast. You'll probably find us. But anyways, Jamal, what it do? No more Nyheim Hines?
Boy.
Marcus Bradley is out, and we going to Gillette. Boy. A lot of fun stuff to talk about today, isn't it?
Absolutely. I could use a Gillette razor myself. I'm looking kind of rough right now, but it's all good. It's all good.
I thought you were about to insert a little ad placement right there.
Gillette, the best a man can get, or the best a man can get, that is not paid for.
Well, let's talk about it. The trade deadline is passed, Jamal. What are your thoughts? Give it to me.
All right, so as I was saying earlier, right quotes on Hines. It says, I was just laughing with Senior Director of Football Communications, Matt Conti, coming in here, talking about Nyheim, and I said, if I were a fantasy owner, if I was going to be in a fantasy league, I think I'd pick Nyheim this year. I think I'd consider drafting Nyheim. I think it's worth it to consider drafting him. Drop the mic. That's crazy because guess what I did, Eric? I drafted Nyheim Hines. And week after week, Nyheim has been subpar. Well, his points have been subpar, not his play. They've been subpar because he hasn't been utilized. But you know what? If I was an honest man, I would tell Colts Nation, for the sake of my fantasy team, I'm excited he's in Buffalo because now I actually may get some points from him. But from a fan standpoint of the Colts, man, I don't know what to say about this. It kills me because, again, it just felt like all this was a lie, all this was a ploy. He talked a big game about Hines all offseason, how important he was going to be. He's going to be using the slot. He's going to be used as a receiver. Intricate part of this offense from here moving forward. Something that was going to be what they paid him this money for with that 3-year extension for $18 million. So all of this was supposed to go hand in hand. And then what do you know? Like everything else in the season, kind of crashed and burned really quickly. Nyheim, subpar play, just say subpar action for him besides Jonathan Taylor being out. But he hadn't been utilized really much. Matt Ryan tried to get him in the slot a lot. He did a pretty good job of rushing the ball for us while he was on the field. But there seemed to be nothing that was geared towards him like Frank made it sound that they were going to be. So it kind of got me thinking about a couple different things, Eric. It made me think to myself, for one, did Frank just lie to continue the CYA streak, cover your ass streak, of what I can do to make myself look good going into the season? Or B, maybe Nyheim requested a trade. Maybe he really did request that trade earlier on, and now it's something where, everything in the dark comes to the light, so he had to let him go. Because I just find it really interesting that a guy who's been here, we just gave him the extension last year. We know how important he is to the team and what he means from his character on the field to off the field. Super nice guy. Why would you want to let somebody go who can be a dual threat at the running back, at the slot, a punt returner? He could be a kick returner. I mean, there's a plethora of things he can do. So I was just kind of scratching my head when I saw that. And for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that I'm happy for him if he did request that trade. But if we just threw him to the Wolves for a Popeye's biscuit and they gave us nothing to drink with it,
oh boy,
then dog, I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah. It still looks like it's playoffs or bust for us, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like we said earlier, the trade deadline moves are going to be very telling for what direction the Colts want to go. And I'm going to combat you, Jamal. I feel like moving Nyheim Hines was a smart move.
Talk to him.
I'm going to talk to him, yeah, objectively. Let me explain this because I'm probably going to get some heat. But one, we don't use him enough, and you just talked about this, underutilization. So like you said, for 2022, I looked at his stats. I don't know what you're talking about that you said he was good on the ground because we never saw him rush the ball. He averaged 2.5 rushes per game. I don't know if he rushed that. He just barely touching the ball. And 2.5 rushes. We're not talking about yards per carry. Like, he touched the ball 2.5 times a game for running plays. A whopping 4 targets per game. Just 4. For a guy, Frank Wright told me to draft in fantasy. Jamal just quoted, if I was a fantasy owner, I'd consider drafting Nyheim Hines. Look, man, a very big disappointment indeed. Look, Jonathan Taylor was even out a couple games, and he still didn't get used much. Deion Jackson got used. And he makes $6.2 million a year. That's 12th highest in the league for all running backs. More than guys like Kareem Hunt, Rashad Penny, Austin Eckler. They get significantly more touches than Nyheim does on a lower salary. Albeit it isn't a whole lot more money. It's probably like $500,000, somewhere in that range. But you could see that Nyheim Hines wasn't utilized like he was supposed to. There was so much hype in the preseason for Matt Ryan, for Nyheim Hines, for Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce was the only hype that came to fruition. 2, age. Nyheim Hines turns 26 in about 9 days. What's the age that we usually see a decline in running backs? 26. The data varies, but 26 is a good starting point. So look, I love Nyheim. I'm not taking anything away from him. But we're leveraging our salary cap for the future. We're acquiring a little bit of draft capital, whatever you want to call it. It is a conditional 6th-round pick. And we're getting Zach Moss in return. All that is not keeping me up at night, guys. Colts Nation is really sad about this, but it is business as usual. The NFL is a business. Now, Nyheim Hines is better than Zach Moss, I believe. But you shouldn't absolutely hate this move unless you have a Nyheim Hines jersey up in your closet right now. Then I'd be sick to my stomach. So, the question really here is, what is the goal for the Indianapolis Colts right now? Because they didn't make as many moves as I thought they would. In my opinion, if they were truly aiming for a rebuild, they would have dealt some of their veteran players, like Matt Ryan, Stephon Gilmore, Ryan Kelly. So, in my opinion, I think Chris Ballard, Frank Wright, they still have their sights on the playoffs. But we'll talk about it later. It ain't cooking right now for us. And like you said, Jamal, it kind of looked like he wanted out anyway. So you could tell a little bit in this press conference when he arrived in Buffalo. But yeah, it's playoffs or bust still. It looks like to be the mindset right now.
And yes, you're correct. He, in his interview, when I watched it, just the way he was talking, his excitement to be there, I think he wanted to skip town. There's zero doubt in my mind. I mean, he said in his conference, sometimes when it's your time to go. And this is paraphrased, by the way. It's not the full quote he said. I feel like a week ago, it was my time to leave. I even felt like Sunday was my last game in Indy. So, needless to say, he knew. I don't really think that the Colts would have broke the news of a potential trade for Nyheim had they not known what was in store. And I agree with you, Eric. I am all for the cap space. I mean, what is it? I got it pulled up here. Give me just 1 second. Where was it? Because I wanted to talk about it.
We're saving $5 million?
Because we owe him some dead cap, so it's a dead money, 1.8 million, and then we're gonna save the $4,790,000 for next year, and then 2024, $5,481,000. But of course, at the end of next year, I believe it is, that the Bills don't have to give him any more guarantee money, so he can get dropped. So yeah, that can happen for him too. But I say all that because I am all for saving the money, especially if we're going to utilize it the way it should be used. However, historically speaking, I know how frugal this franchise is and how they work. And I like to think that if you truly wanted to wheel and deal, you could have got something better. The Bills knew how desperate we were. That's why they said, all right, fine, I'm going to go ahead and give you your Chick-fil-A, but I'm not giving you Chick-fil-A sauce with it, and you ain't going to do nothing about it. So, and we said, all right, that's fine. I'll see y'all next week. No, it don't work like that, dog. If we're going to wheel and deal, at least get something. I agree. The money was great. I'm glad we saved the money.
I'm loving these metaphors. Keep them coming.
Zach, he's going to be a decent, pass blocking running back for us. I'm cool. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But what I don't like is where we have a conditional. I'm sorry of these conditional picks. A conditional 6th-round pick that can go to a 5th-round pick. Again, what are we going to do with a 6th-round pick? There, we don't have any leverage. I don't know. Unless we plan on giving up a plethora of something, or Chris Ballard goes into his typical, well, I'm going to try to go ahead and flip this 6th-round pick and then maybe a 4th-round pick into a super late 3rd-round pick and go pick up God knows who and be like, this is my diamond in the rough. And yes, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole.
Deep, man.
I agree. But Eric, tell me, on Ballard's resume, besides D. Leonard, besides Tyreek Hill, because he's also an elite pick from a D2 school, and besides who else did Ballard pick up that's worthwhile? JT was 2nd round, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Can we talk about anybody else that Ballard has scooped up that's made a difference from the Chiefs to now? I can't really think so. Not someone monumental. Those 3 guys are definitely monumental guys. And it's not, obviously, I mean, we know JT is a great running back, but it's not looking too great for him for this year. So I'm hoping that wasn't just a one and done year for him.
Rodney Thomas was what, a 7th-round pick?
He was a 7th-round pick, yes.
He's been starting for us.
I agree.
So,
and I would like to see what he's like in 2 or 3 years, though. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that
Sam Ehlinger was a 6th-round.
correct, and they let him ride the bench for 2 years. They didn't want to give him a chance.
Hey, you don't have to be a starter as soon as you come in.
I agree,
take
but
the draft capital. What are we doing with Nyheim Hines? What were we gonna do?
Well,
we weren't even using him.
No,
Why
you're right. We
keep
weren't
him?
using him. But why would we get rid of him literally for a 6th-round pick? I can't think of another one right now. Why would we get rid of him for a 6th-round pick? That's what I want to know. I just felt like it was
More
something
ammo in the chamber, baby.
possibly, but you can't will and do a little bit more. Like, you mean to tell me that was the absolute best and final offer?
Pretty sure Kareem Hunt got traded for like a 4th-round pick. McCaffrey was only a 2nd. The value on running backs is pretty low already, and then you add in the fact that Hines isn't a McCaffrey level talent.
That's true.
Yeah. So it'd be like that sometimes.
All right. Well, we'll keep going down that rabbit hole then, like you were talking about, because what does that mean for the Colts for the rest of this season and/or for the next season going forward? Before we get into our next portion, but kind of talking about, I wanted to talk about Matt Ryan's contract too, because as you were saying, I do think that the Nyheim Hines was a business decision. And it was going to be to save money. Of course, with sitting Matt Ryan, another reason why they set him was because they knew we had to get this money. I mean, we already owe him $12 million next year, fully guaranteed. Of course, players are getting so much guaranteed money these days. It's crazy. I don't know if you saw Bradley Chubb's contract today. I think it was like, what,
he
5
got
years?
overpaid.
Yeah, 5 years, $119 million, 62.5 guaranteed. It's wild. So players are getting all this guaranteed money. Matt Ryan, we're going to owe him that. But of course, he had that millions more guaranteed that in his contract. If he would have walked in there with the physical in 2023 in March and would have been injured, we would have to pay him throughout there. And so I just find it weird that I find it good that we did sit Ryan because we want to get that money. And if Nyheim was in fact truly something to add an additional $6 million for us, then fine. I'm completely fine with that. Of course, I want Nyheim to stay. But I want to do what's best for the future. Again, I think it was a mutual closing of terms with the Colts and Nyheim. But I just kind of, I don't know. I guess it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because I also feel like the Colts, they just straight up said, in my opinion, that you're right, we're not going to utilize you. You can go. I mean, I feel like if you truly care about that player, you think that he has a benefit to the team, you can at least, I don't know. We're not behind the scenes. We don't know what happened. But I just feel like they were like, again, all right, bye, you're out of here. You want to go. We're not gonna stop you. We're not gonna try to make you stay, but we're not gonna stop you either from leaving. So
yeah, don't know what happened, but I do know we can bounce back from this. This isn't a game ender for us.
Not at all.
Marcus
Not at all. But yeah. Oh, I was gonna bring him up.
Marcus Brady.
Yeah.
Small talk about him. We fired him.
Operation CYA continues again.
I-
And for all of our listeners who don't know, that means covering your ass for the second time today.
Scapegoat season. How's this going to affect our season?
It's not going to affect our season because Frank Reich's been the play call the entire time. He hasn't had creative control over the offense or however you want to consider it, but he has the ability to call the plays, call the formations. He knows what the formations are. If he had a problem with anything that had been going on in this offensive scheme the entire time, he would have corrected it. And guess what? He has not done all season long, corrected anything. So I don't think Marcus losing Marcus is going to change anything for us. It's still going to be the same thing. Reich has again officially determined that everyone's going to play an intricate part in the offensive calling or offensive coordinating job, but he's still going to be the play caller. So I just don't see anything changing for us. It's going to be the same bland stuff, the same style play. Because if we really had a problem with our OC, we could have corrected some of this stuff in practice. Especially if you're the head coach, you have the authority and the ability to change what you do and don't like. So I just don't really see anything. This is a scapegoat thing. I know Reich said it's not about he wasn't scapegoated or whatever, but it is because this is now the third week in a row where a major change has happened. I mean, it's crazy, Eric. Reich has been there 5 years, and there have been 0 changes that have happened throughout the entire time. Now, all of a sudden, we got 3 weeks where we holding our breaths every time the Colts news come up because there's some major change going on, or Reich is doing this, doing that, the organization is doing something. So, I mean, again, it's losing him. I don't know that his offensive schemes were the best, but again, if your head coach is the play caller, he definitely has some control over what's out on the field with the personnel, and he still chose to agree with the personnel that was out there for each situation. So why would you change anything now? So I don't think much will change for us.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming at all. So when it popped up on my phone, I said, damn, it's scapegoat season. Like Marcus Brady, he's been with the Colts since 2018, but he only took over OC duties in 2021 when Nick Sirianni left. So, I mean, this man's had what? He hasn't even had 2 years as an OC before getting fired. To me, that's a head scratcher. At first, they benched Matt Ryan. Wow, looking like our season is tanking. Then they fire Marcus Brady. Scapegoat season is just written all over this to me. When does it work its way to the tippity top? That's what I want to know, because that's yet to be seen.
I know the answer. I'll tell you afterwards.
I honestly thought Chris Strausser was going to be on the chopping block first with how bad our offensive line has regressed. But no, Marcus Brady. So, like you said, Frank Reich is the one calling plays on the offense. So we can't really blame Brady for that. Now, we can blame him for play design, game strategy. Maybe all that bland play calling early on in the year was Marcus Brady's fault. I'm not quite sure. I don't think we'll ever know until we see what happens with our offense going forward now. So I still think this is a negative on us. I mean, we're down in OC. We're down a resource. I don't believe he was the core problem for our offense. You know, limiting mistakes and offensive line regression have always been my 2 gripes with this offense. You know, all season. So we'll see how different play design and game strategy is come Sunday against the Pats.
Yes, we will. And start from the top, Eric, to answer your question. It will never end. Frank Reich will be there. Jim Irsay has expressed his love and affection for Frank Reich and Chris Ballard countless times. No matter what's happened, he's made it crystal clear that he is all about them. Even after his long-winded conversation after the Jacksonville game last year, where he immediately called him into his office at the stadium when they returned from Jacksonville. Nothing changed. And it's going to stay that way. I think that Frank is trying to flip house now, as we already know. I mean, it's all, like you said, it's all scapegoat season. They're trying to flip house and do as much as they can to buy time. I mean, this all you can do at this point is buy time, because you know you're on the chopping block. Again, I said when they said that that Sam was going to be the starter, I said, oh, this just bought him at least the rest of the season, because they're going to say, how can we fire you with a new quarterback who's coming in week 8 once teams are already rolling now? Now you fire your OC. Oh, well, how can we fire you when now you have to come in and you had no control, quotes for people who aren't watching on YouTube, no control of what was going on. You were just the play caller. Don't work like that, man. You're the head coach. You have complete control over everything. If you don't like a personnel, if you don't like something, then you correct that problem. Of course, you trust and respect your OC, but at the end of the day, we know that you're going to be the face on the news every single day. And as he always says, the buck stops with me. We got to put the blame on me. However, yet we always manage to find a way to put the blame on someone else. Again, like you said,
we got outcoached.
Yeah, exactly.
We got outplayed.
Exactly. How?
Oh,
you mean
man.
tell me this defensive coordinator who watched your film for 1 week outcoach you, who went in your playbook for a full year now? Like, don't work like that, man. Don't work like that. Frank Reich, man, Jesus, I can just go all day long about it, and I know y'all get so tired of hearing me complain about Reich every single week. But even my fantasy name, Indy better be Reich, is wrong. Is wrong, man. It's weird, Eric. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a lot of nonsense. I would have thought the O-line coach would have been the first person to go as well, especially with the way the play has been. I mean, even I think Ryan Kelly was talking again about how nothing's right, or how they have to get it together and all this stuff. It's just a bunch of fluff this year, and it's really annoying that no one will just address the true problem. We don't know what the true problem is because no one will address it. I understand if there are locker room issues or if there truly are other coaching staff issues, but then you have the ability. I know we want to keep a lot of things in the house, especially during the season, but you got to correct this stuff. I mean, we look like we're running a clown show. Every single week, it looks like we're running a clown show. Our owner's talking about Dan Snyder, then we get mopped up by the Commanders. Our offensive line can't block. Running backs can't do anything. I mean, like, it's literally, we're a laughing stock. We were supposed to be the Super Bowl caliber team this year with all these things that people were writing, and we're below 500. I mean, I don't know what else to say. We're firing OCs. We're benching the starting quarterback. We got rid of our second string running back. There's nothing that's going correct right now. Nothing. So I don't really understand how you bring in a new DC, you bring in more players, you bring in different personnel, you bring in different minds. It just slowly but surely goes down even farther and farther. So again, I don't know. I think that our owner has let this thing go off the rails, and he doesn't know how to pull it back in. Again, I think Jim Irsay is a great person. I don't think he's a businessman at all. He does not understand the business aspect of running an NFL team, but he's a great human being. Wow. Yeah, he's a great human being. I'll never not say he is not, because he is, but he does not understand the logistics of how to run a team, because other owners would have nipped this in the bud a long time ago. They wouldn't have let this ride for 5 years. The same thing happened with Chuck Pagano when he started going down. He got rid of his OC the year before the year he got fired, and it all started mid-season. It's man, listen, ain't nothing changed but the name on the mail, Eric. It continues to go week after week after week. And are we going to sit here and say we got outcoached, we got outplayed again by the Patriots? Because we know we're going to get outcoached and outplayed by Bill Belichick. We know that. We know what he can do with his team. We saw him sit his first string quarterback and put the second one in and still be competitive in the game. So they make changes. We don't make changes. We just say, oh, there's always next week. Our motto is 1-0. We need to go 1-0. We need to go 1-0. But when you're below 500, you got to want to do more than go 1-0. So I don't know. I know you said playoff or bust, but I don't think that the playoffs aren't here. Those are long gone. The team is not going to tank. I think the only way
we're still in the running for the
because
playoffs.
we're in. Yeah, we'll talk. We're gonna give everybody. We're still mathematically speaking. Yes, you're correct. We are still in the running.
We
for the
are.
I just running. I don't want to lie to everyone on as they listen to this and make them believe that there's a playoff run coming, because I hope I'm wrong. Some of my takes have been kind of right this year, so I'll continue to say that the playoffs are done. That's long gone, and I do really believe that Frank is trying to find a way to bust by doing all this stuff, but I don't know that it's not going to be a tanking. It's not going to tank. That's the problem. Like if he really wanted to do it, then you need to tank. But we're going to keep giving him little pieces here and there until we get a below 500 season for the end of the season and get a decent draft pick. And then maybe we can will and deal that 6th-round pick or that 3rd-round pick that we have for Carson or whatever the case is. We can figure that out because we know that's probably going to stay a 3rd round. So I think his plan is to go mediocre, and then we work our way down a little bit and hope for the best. But
yeah, I don't want to spread false hope here, but we're still battling for most likely a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm. What happened last year with the wild card spot? Sorry, go ahead. 99.6% chance to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We won't talk about 98.6, whatever.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
We're heading to Gillette Stadium at the Patriots. 2 high-flying offenses. If this was Peyton versus Brady, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, whoa.
Instead, we have Sam Ehlinger, Mac Jones. Still going to be a fun game to watch because I want to see, game 2 from Ehlinger. What can he improve on? What did he learn from last game? I do think a Belichick coach team is always rough for young QBs to face. It's been a trend lately. They already have a good defense, so I'm about to just be real with y'all. Because if we can't limit turnovers, if we average 2 giveaways per game, 2, we just give them 2 possessions per game. That's crazy to think about. That's every game. And then you look at the Patriots, who lead the league in takeaways. Ooh, it's getting rough out here. Oh my goodness, we have turnover issues. No offensive coordinator. Running back squad is depleted with no JT potentially. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah,
seen
you're
that.
correct. Yep. Dennis Kelly.
Nope. Dennis Kelly made an amazing block last game on Paris Campbell's little rush. So I want Dennis Kelly back out there.
Yeah, he's got to be out there. Because Matt Pryor's still starting. I don't know how, but we won't go down that rabbit hole today.
I don't want to talk about Matt Pryor.
Not today.
So no more Nyheim Hines as well. So all of that, and we're on the road with Sam Ehlinger in his 2nd start. We haven't won at Gillette in 16 years.
Wow.
Then you got to watch out for Matthew Judon, their edge rusher, tied for 1st in the league in sacks at 8.5. Yeah, Matthew Judon. Watch out for his name because he gonna be all over Ehlinger, I bet. What is Matt Pryor starting at guard or tackle?
Guard, right guard.
Okay.
If they put him at right or at any tackle, the cow's coming home because it's over.
We'd see Matt Ryan 2.0 out there with all the sacks.
Yeah.
I know Ellinger's more mobile, but that's a key matchup to watch right there. See if our tackles can block well against him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep it straight. I'm going to keep it a buck. We about to get cooked. The Colts might put up 3. The Colts might put up 3 points. And Frank Wright might be trying to salvage his job and keep winning games, but everything, like you said, has been trending down for the Colts lately. Disaster in Indianapolis Part 2 is probably coming up next, man.
Big facts. I'll tell you the one thing I'm excited to see about this game. I am excited to see Sam run. I think he may get a chance to get some scrambles and I know he's not Justin Fields' caliber. I get that. I'm not comparing him to at all. But it was kind of fun to see Justin run all over that defense. I mean, especially for a pretty solid defense overall. He was just picking them apart just to get easy 1st downs and all that. So I'll be curious to see if Sam can maybe sneak us a little 3rd and 3 1st down on a little scramble or something. I think that's about the most exciting. I know I never said that. I said Justin Fields is out there running the game. Dude was out there running 60-yard scrambles. I said it's Sam on a 3rd and 3 scramble to pick up a 1st down. Don't ever twist my words like that. Because we was yeah, we got these people out here thinking I'm asleep, boy. Nah.
Y'all think Sam Ehlinger the next Lamar Jackson. Y'all
ain't nobody ever said that, but he better than Matt Ryan, I can tell you that. And you the one saying that the playoffs are still alive. Get out of here, dog. Stop lying to people, man. I don't got time to lie to people.
I'm not lying. I'm being. No,
I saw
we've been down this road last season. We lost the first 3 games, and we came back.
And we had the Russian champ in the backfield, and we still figured out a way to lose.
It's true.
But neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well, go Colts, but I really I'm not we've been betting on the Colts to win almost every week. This week, I don't think it's gonna happen. We're probably gonna drop to 3-5-1. That's when we gonna start looking at mock drafts because, that's what we're gonna be looking at because the schedule gets tougher and tougher as we go down. So we'll see what happens here, guys. I think that's all we had, Jamal.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you said, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. We'll see what happens. The schedule does get pretty wild after this. Optimism, not too much there, but I'm excited for Colts football. I'm always excited to see us on the field and play. I'm always excited for that. I may not be excited about the outcome, but I'm always excited to see us hit the field. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we just gotta keep it real, guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm excited. 1 p.m. right?
Yes, sir.
1 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be it for us, everybody. I want to thank everyone for tuning to the Colts Cast. We release episodes bi-weekly. Go ahead and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back after the game on Sunday to give you a post-game analysis. Of course, more Indianapolis Colts content coming your way. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Take care. Have a good weekend.